to this. This is a 1973 Opel 1900, which is what they called it in the US. Everywhere else it's an Ascona. I've had this for over a year and I haven't done anything with it just because of who I am. And then Chrissy back there is trying to get to work and with something to do with this. She flew from Michigan out here and is making me work on it. So hence, here's this video.
You make it sound like I do that exclusively.
So, here we go. I'm gonna try and get it running. I'll show you what's wrong with it. It's green. Here it is. Here's the engine in this thing. It's a 1.9 liter, obviously Opel engine. Not much room here between the radiator in the front of the car and the radiator in the engine. And then like all that is like where your feet go in the interior. So the reason this car stopped being driven in 2011 was because the battery was leaking, I guess, and it like rusted its way through the whatever this is, footwell, and then it went into the interior from it leaking, and it dissolved the fuse box, and the hood release rusted off and such. And it like burnt up wires in here and dissolved the fuses. Looks like it melted a plastic bag. And then we just noticed last night that most likely when that happened, it burnt the main power wire there off the starter, probably from everything shorting out. Funny thing is that I also noticed that this has been repaired previously. So the guy that had this was aware that this battery was leaking and, you know, falling through the firewall. So I don't know, you'd think he would kind of keep up on that, but I guess not. But he's also the one that did like these repairs. Pipe strap, ballast resistor, held on with chicken wire. So supposedly this runs, but I don't know, because I just bought it and stuffed it in my garage here. Maybe planning on looking at it again at some point. But she's making me get it running. So we're going to try and fire it up here. She's going to try and fix the wiring, because that's what she does. That mess. I was perfectly content just like using some used extension cords and jumping all the circuits in the engine bay and getting it running. But she will have none of that. The only fluid I care enough about changing is going to be the oil, because the trans fluid looks better than it has any right to be. And the antifreeze wasn't already in the oil, so the antifreeze should be fine, at least to start it. But the oil was pretty viscous, to say the least. Hopefully this is the oil. Then we got the filter from AutoZone, so we'll see if their computer was actually right for this car, because they had it in stock. There we go. The oil's pretty gross and it smells funny.
You're a lucky man. These seeds cleaned up beautifully.
Nice.
Minimal wire crimping, so it's mostly isolated to the box itself. It's probably mounted horizontally under the battery tray. Why?
Because this car was designed to last for like 10 years and then be melted down into another one.
So if your battery imploded, everything else goes underneath it into an electrical fire? Wonderful.
But yeah, then it just accelerated the process. You'd buy a new Opel quicker.
So,
I don't know, lines up for me. So I just put that fuel filter on, not because I didn't trust the other one, because I'm just curious to see if fuel's flowing. And that I bought new for a lawn tractor, as you may recognize, just happen to have it. It loosely fits in the fuel line, so that's good enough. So now over here, I'm going to disconnect the factory Hitler's Revenge cloth fuel line right there. The fuel pump's under the alternator, and then it wraps up around to the carburetor, but the feed is right here on this, I don't know, subframe rail. I'm going to disconnect that and hook up a regular rubber line I have here. And then I'm going to feed it into this Gold Peak Diet iced tea container. And then that's going to be kind of hanging out around here on the fender, right near where I'm going to be arcing a coat hanger later to start the car. Exciting. There we go. That should work pretty good. That line goes down to the cloth covered fuel line because it connects on the bottom of the fuel pump and it was really hard to get to, so I didn't disconnect it. I just cut it on the frame rail and then threw this 5/16 metal line into it, clamped it down there, and rammed into the iced tea bottle. So that should conclude the fuel system, if anything actually works and the carburetor isn't just clogged solid.
Explain what you found.
Yeah, she had to know what's under this cover. She found samplings of a mouse nest. Oh yeah, there it is poking out. So now we're going to find out the mystery of what's under this plastic cover.
It hasn't filled in what I've done so far in the fuse box on what remains of the battery tray. Well, 3-4 layers of it.
Yep. I guess she also peeled out the battery tray. This is the lower layer. This is the original because you can see where the little thing is to hold the battery in. And then here's the 2 layers of stuff he put on top of it. Oh no, this is the first layer. The second layer I think is like vaporized. But this was like the first patch. It's like, oh, it's fiberglass. That's what it is. It's like the Bondo fiberglass over a piece of plastic, I think. Yep, that's what that is. It's a washer bottle cut flat with Bondo fiberglass on top of it. And then there was 2 pieces of tin that are gone that were pop riveted on top of it. So yeah, this guy had a multi-step repair process on this.
3 to 4 layers at bare minimum.
Yep. Instead of just putting a battery in that didn't leak. That's much easier. But yeah, pop that cover off. Let's see the magic underneath.
There you go. You have the honors. Oh no, wait, this... Oh no. No screw left on that one. Nope.
There we go. Oh yeah, look at that.
Didn't think you'd know that was there, right?
Oh yeah. Hope you like the hantavirus, because you have the hantavirus now.
Put it with the tray. It's like a soft
Don't
one.
break it.
Oh yeah, like, look at that. It's already broken.
Looks like melt. Oh, the mice probably chewed on it.
There you go.
Yep. Here's what's left after she derusted the battery tray. See, it has some ventilation into the wheel well too. And this harness. Oh, there it goes. Now that all the stuff's out of the way, it goes right where it belongs. Like, probably like right there. And then she's been working on de-ruining the fuse box. The entire fuse holder thing was shot, so she cut it off. And I went and got a new one. So now she's going to wire that. And then we can see what part of the car lights on fire first. So now it's July. I think where this video just left off prior to this was September.
October.
October? Yeah, nothing else happened on this since then. So Chrissy came back to Connie's working on it, or guilty in working on it, I guess you could say.
Both.
Yeah, she's currently wiping the rubber that got on it somehow. So both of us aren't really sure where we left off. We remember we wired, and I remember I did some stuff to the engine. So I think we're going to kind of glance at the wiring again and put a battery in it and see if the light's on fire. The battery tray missing, there's easy access wiring there. Got a battery. Get this out of the way. There we go, perfect fit. So, oh good, the terminals are backwards too. So for some reason, this being German, the ground is red and the positive is black. And no, it's not positive ground. See, it's actually marked negative and positive. So let me just flip this around and see if I can make those fit. She just verified her wiring repairs from last year. It seems like everything is still good, except maybe the dome light or whatever, which I'm not too concerned about. made this handy dandy schematic here that I can't read, but it made some sense to her at least. So I guess we'll plug the battery in now and see if it bursts into flames or not. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, let's take this.
Well, there's no spark, so it's somewhat safe. Okay, they're on.
Is it a bad thing if my car spark every time I connect the battery?
But you know it's working. Here, why don't you try some lights or something? We'll start easy. Nope. Got nothing.
Alright. Lights? No lights.
Nope. Nothing. That was anticlimactic. So I found the problem. I remember last year I found the burnt wire. I forgot about it. Well, I refound the burnt wire. So there's that. And it used to go to this bundle of corrosion here, where these 3 red wires go together. I guess now they decide to use red for positive instead of black. Which is fun about this is that there's like a 10 gauge wire that runs directly from the output of the alternator directly to the fuse box. And then they tee this little, I don't know, like a 12 gauge on here to go to the battery. And there's no fuses or fusible links in any of it. So that's good engineering. I guess this wire that burnt up was the fusible link in theory. So if I reconnect this to the starter, I'll probably do it a little differently. Then we should have power. But in theory, there's power now.
I mean, we checked it with the multimeter. We're getting power to your fuse block. If you want, I can root around in here, but...
Oh no, hit the lights. Hey! It did something. Okay, that appears to be in the fuel. Put the gas cap back on. Okay, let's see if fuel gets up into it. Nope, no fuel yet.
Want me to keep showing?
Oh yeah. Pumping fuel. It got fuel. Okay. Okay, there is no spark. Okay, crank it again. Nope, no spark. Crank it again.
What's your prognosis, doctor?
Could be the coil.
No, I'll take a spare one.
I probably do.
Maybe we can shop and listen for a parts act and see what goes.
Okay, uninstall the ignition system that was on it with the plumbing strapping and such. This had a resistor in it. I don't think it needed it because there's 2 wires going to the coil already, so I have a suspicion this thing has a resistor wire. So I think this guy just put this resistor in it because it says on it to use a resistor. So through this random chrome coil on here, and I guess we can check again to see if it has spark. So whenever you're ready, crank her up. It sparked like once.
Are you sure we have enough battery?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's cranking plenty quick. You do it again. Turn the key on.
Hold up. Okay.
Yep, that works. Crank it. Yeah, and it has a resistor wire, because watch the light.
Yeah.
This is 6 volt, and then when you crank it, go ahead and crank it.
Well,
Yeah, there's a 12. So it was going through 2 resistors. Crank it. Points are working. Sparking.
all right.
Okay, let's try it again. It doesn't even smoke or anything. That's pretty uneventful. So this plate goes under the rotor in the distributor. You see it has this little notch in it.
Was it not lined up?
It was not lined up.
Ooh.
And with that not lined up, the cap won't fit on, and the notch in the cap won't line up.
So it wasn't even sitting correctly to begin with.
He had the distributor cap on a random place, not where it belonged. And then when I just put it on correctly, like I pulled this out so you put the cap down on the distributor, then the firing order was off. So putting the cap on it, this, according to factory, this one down here is supposed to be plug 1. So this distributor was never out, or it was put back in where it belonged, because now that's where the firing order is supposed to be. Before he had number 1 up here. So the cap was on sideways or upside down or something, so that's why the firing order was off.
No, it's completely rotated 180 degrees then.
Yeah. So between the coil having an extra resistor in it and that's why it didn't run.
Problem solved.
So,
anyways,
yeah.
You said that the gas line to the gas tank is okay, or why did you
I don't
bypass
really
it?
trust that.
You don't trust
The
it?
tank smells real bad. Like,
We can clean it out.
really bad.
Alright, so it's skunked, but
Yeah.
I mean, you have a power washer?
No, I have an iced tea bottle.
Oh, wonderful, fantastic. I mean, I'd love to go driving with the hood open in front of me like this.
Oh, you can close it, just freaking, hey, there you go. Okay, it's another day. Chrissy has to go back home to the D. So we had to quick finish this up because we both made a promise to each other we'd get it running this visit, because last time it didn't happen. And she has to leave like right now. So we got to quick pull it out of the garage and pull it back in to prove that it runs. I'm going to hook the battery back up, put a piece of safety wood on it. I already filled up the fuel tank again. And then I guess we'll take it for its maiden voyage and hope the rest of the stuff we didn't check works. Yeah, don't need that. There we go. Safety wood. Try the brakes. No, that's what the brakes are dragging. Tire got that low. Hey, Luke. Not bad. being great. Yeah, go for it. The brakes seem to work good enough.
Yeah.
You didn't roll down the hill. Yeah, the seatbelt's gonna save you. That's the real issue here.
Look, if I'm gonna die, I at least want to pretend I was trying.
Yeah, when you catch the board or the iced tea bottle full of gas in the lap and you can't get out because the seatbelt's on. Sure, go for it. It does work. Hey, it shifts. Sounds good.
How much do you want for it?
I don't know. I mean, now it runs, so it's worth like significantly more. Like the value really just went up a lot. Used car market's pretty hot right now,
So
especially these classics.
Alright, what next?
I don't know. It runs and drives.
Runs?
You were a little bit more gung-ho than I would have expected for a test drive of a car that hasn't ran in 20 years, but whatever.
Okay, then what would you expect me to do? Sit out there, tap the gas gently, and scream in terror?
I don't know, you pull out the drive and you hit third gear.
Alright, if it can't leave your driveway in one piece under a Chrissy test, it's not gonna work.
You're like, let's see if the brakes work, and you test them at the end of the garage, and you're like, yup. Yeah, they're good to go.
If I'm gonna die, I might as well do it in the heights of Lehigh Valley, okay?
Yeah, your trip has been a success, the Opel runs.
No, but, okay. So what next are your plans on this? Might as well cover that in.
Well, you don't want me to swap the engine.
No? I
But,
mean, it's your car.
I mean, because I'm not going to swap the engine, I measured the engine bay, it's about 25 inches long and about 36 inches wide.